have primary control of critical vehicle functions. Roger roll, Discovery.
Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, as always I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Claire.
Hey.
Today we're going to do an Anthology of the Strange. It's number 3. It's all the stuff that we've found over the course of research that it's like, oh yeah, that'll be really good to talk about, but it's not going to last, the good sort of 40 minutes to an hour and a half that we needed to. So we put them all into one of these for your listening pleasure.
It's like a, elongated weird news, isn't it?
Kind of.
Yes, but more varied. We've got aliens and Nazis. Come on.
Nazis twice.
Nazis twice. It's always a very heavy Nazi-heavy episode.
Well, isn't it?
Just like life is becoming very Nazi-heavy.
It's moving that way.
Yes. There was a great spoiler alert for Rick and Morty season 4 where Rick keeps ending up in these dimension skippings. And every dimension he ends up in, everyone's a Nazi. Apart from the wasps. The dimension where everyone was a wasp. They were like, nah man, we're dicks but we hate Nazis.
You don't want Nazi wasps.
You don't.
Cocooned in their fucking hives.
Ooh, there's a B-movie.
Yeah.
Copyright us. Alright, let's thank some new and returning listeners then. So Singapore, Brussels, Belgium, Loomis, California, Sydney, Australia, Hyderabad, India. We always got a couple of Indian listeners. Grand Prairie in Texas, Washington, Missouri, Palazzo Martesana in Italy, Vanderbilt Park in South Africa, London, United Kingdom, Warsaw, Poland, Yangon in Myanmar, Ronenberg in Germany, Los Angeles, California, Aurora, that's a new one. What's this, CO? Colorado, Scott City, Missouri, Greenville, North Carolina, West Jordan in Utah, Guadalajara, Spain, and Shady Nasty, still top.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you all for listening. Tell a friend, tell several friends.
Yep.
So we will forgo weird news this week, and we'll move straight on in
To the Nazis.
to the Nazis. Yeah! Oh, they're everywhere. They are like history's bad guys now. They're gonna be like that bad pantomime villain that shows up every decade and has to be beaten back.
Da, da, da.
They are the ultimate villains from history though, aren't they?
That's it.
Well, because they did pretty awful things.
Well, yes, they did terrible. I'm not saying that their reputation isn't ill-deserved.
Yeah.
They are Nazis.
Yeah.
They're a nasty bunch of people. But
Yeah.
anyway, right. So were the Nazis the first to visit the moon and Mars using a UFO-looking Nazi bell? Nazi bell, De Glocke. The Nazi Bell, a UFO-looking spacecraft, was created by Nazi Germany to enable flights to the moon and other planets of the solar system and even the Alpha Tauri star system. According to some conspiracy theorists, the Nazis used an incredible anti-gravity system to develop such technology.
My question is, why the fuck didn't they use it in the war then? To help them win the war they lost? If they had this technology, they would have used it. Surely.
What if there's only one and it's experimental?
Fuck it. In 1945, they're on their fucking asses. They need something. It would be worth a try, wouldn't it?
What would they do? Fly it over and, I don't know, kamikaze it into something? How would that help win the war?
Yeah, what is one of these things
Well, it
going
won't be
to
able
do?
to have an orbital strike.
Maybe it won't. What they going to strike with? They haven't got nukes.
They got V2s.
What, so we're going to strap a load of V2s to it and then let it fire down?
Yeah. The problem was that it wasn't accurate, and it couldn't go very far, could
I
it?
don't think it's going to work.
If you're dropping it from space, if you know the rotation of the Earth, the angle, you can get it right. account for the wind speeds and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a piece of piss then. We'll be fine with 1940s technology. We'll figure that out. Orbital strike. Then again, they have got a Nazi bell. Who knows? There it is in all its Nazi glory.
It looks like a church bell with a Nazi sign on it.
Yeah, pretty much, and some runes.
I think it looks like Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah.
Or his butt plug.
Or Rick Moranis' Darth Vader helmet in
Yeah.
Spaceballs. The Nazi bell, a top secret project commissioned by Hitler. There are witnesses who claim the apparatus of the Third Reich had landed on the Moon, Mars and distant star systems. There was also a documentary that suggested that anti-gravity technology was used by the United States after it was captured and then tested after the war. This is the UFO that crashed in 1947 in Roswell, and Hitler ordered the technology developed as part of a secret space program. Where is it now?
How does it take off? It looks ever so heavy.
Anti-gravity, isn't it?
There's this actually
With
weird...
anti-grav, there's no weight.
Weighs nothing, I suppose. And there's that weird circle of concrete columns in Poland in the middle of the forest that they reckon it was where it was being tested. It was apparently a bell-shaped machine capable of destroying almost everything. It was believed the bell could even change time. But if it really existed, what happened to it? Was he on the verge of changing history with it? And if so, whose hands is it in now?
Nobody's, it never existed.
There's a picture of it, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, didn't you see the artist impression of it? It's labelled as that. It doesn't say artist impression underneath.
Oh, it's a real photograph, of course.
Well, of course we can trust howandwise.com. Don't know who they are, but... Yeah. Strange inscriptions. Always gonna have the swastika on everything. Very good with branding, weren't they?
Certainly. What's the Kecksburg acorn?
Well, funny you should mention that. In the 60s, that thing came down apparently in a town in the US called Kecksburg.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was referred to as Kecksburg acorn. The guy who found it said like an acorn. Then the military came in, closed off the area, wrapped it up, stuck it on the back of a wagon, fucked off with it.
Take it wasn't the size of an acorn.
No, it was like sort of funnily enough a similar size to the Nazi bell.
The mythical Nazi bell.
The mythical Nazi bell, the mythical Nazi bell. That one.
We didn't use it in the war. The mythical Nazi bell.
You'd think that he used it.
Yeah.
Unless the guy that did invent it was like the Russians or the Americans or whoever's closing in on his secret bunker and he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to try it. And then he ended up in 60s Kecksburg.
And he couldn't get back.
And he couldn't get back, it was fucked, it just crashed. He broke it.
Oh, it's got time travelling now as well as anti-gravity.
Well, yeah, it said it was time travelling.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I must have missed that.
Oh, that's the first thing I thought. As soon as it said time travel, I was like, yeah, well, why didn't it help to win the war?
Well, that's it, yeah, even more evidence then, isn't it? We all speak in Deutsch now.
But, well, you just did.
Scheiße!
Great. So yeah, what do you think of the Nazi bell? Let's scroll down a bit more because we've got some more of the article. Apparently it was powered by red mercury. Could have been linked to the Roswell incident in 1947.
How?
Well, it could have been that bursting through instead.
Where'd you get red mercury these days?
Well, maybe the Third Reich was dealing with aliens.
I don't know what red mercury is, I must admit.
I thought it was just going to be like normal silver mercury, but red.
That's probably what it is, it's just red. I don't know where you get it from, maybe you put some dye in it. I don't know. I assume it's some kind of alien fuel.
Sounds a bit like that plasma off Star Trek, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that. Except it's red.
Star Trek are in cahoots with him.
Well, Star Trek was all based on the Nazi space program. They just turned them into space communists for the show.
Yeah.
They did really want a space program, though. They had it planned and everything. I mean, Von Braun wanted the reason he wanted the rockets was to get into space, allegedly, not to bomb cities, but obviously the rockets got given a weapon. The SS went, that'd make a great weapon.
Apparently red mercury doesn't exist.
Well, there you go then.
It's a fictional substance purportedly of uncertain composition used in the creation of nuclear weapons and other weapon systems, but It's fictional.
Well, it might be fictional. Could be alien red mercury.
Could be.
Could be.
Right, so Nazi Bell, I think it's a time travel. Right, you're going to answer the question, well, they should have just come back and not invaded Russia in 41, shouldn't they?
But then again, didn't we learn that if you go back in time, all the time's self-healing? So no matter what they did, they'd always lose the war.
Did we learn that from Red Dwarf?
No.
Where did we learn that from then? Because that's where I get most of my
Fucked up
science.
Fucked up facts in
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember. That's the end of the show. I'm too high by that point.
So yeah, come to think of it, maybe they did have it and they went back.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything about it.
They fucked it up.
No matter what they did, perhaps this was their best outcome.
What, will they take over again in 70 years?
Maybe.
And they don't have to fight a war to do it, they just gradually turn public opinion to agree with all their ideals.
Or maybe
through subtle propaganda.
this was the only way that they could survive, was to lose the war and infiltrate into America.
Oh, I don't
In the
believe
West.
time's self-healing. I couldn't,
Project Paperclip.
I don't believe it's self-healing at all.
No.
No, I think it's you can go off on a tangent for sure. Back to the Future.
There's going to be
That's
some...
what the recent science says. I mean, it's not conclusive, I don't think, but
Until someone goes back in time, we won't know.
that's true. Maybe people are going back in time.
Fucking the year up and trying to change it.
Yeah, but failing because it's all destined to happen that way anyway.
Well, that's depressing in that scenario.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea everything's destined to happen.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of fate either. I like the idea of your own person.
But if we're a simulation, then it could be all mapped out for us.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah, but then we're on to another level where it's a simulation. So what the fuck should I care?
It's real to you. It's real to us.
Yeah, it is, but it's like,
It
well,
might be a simulation, but it's real to us. So what does it matter? At the end of the day,
are we being controlled in like some video game, or are we just in a pod somewhere? That's the other thing.
who knows? It might not be a simulation, but I'm just saying it might be.
Well, either way, Nazi bells. I do think the Nazis had some fucking messed up shit though towards the end of the war. They were experimenting with a lot of stuff. I'm not saying they had a time travelling bell that was like anti-grav, but I reckon that, I mean, they had like guided missiles by the end of the war. They had the prototypes working, they just couldn't obviously produce enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
They had assault rifles, the technology just really jumped. I mean, they got the first jet fighters into the air. They were experimenting with all kinds of fucking crazy rocket planes.
And imagine if they'd held on to Einstein, they would have had the nuke.
Could have got the A-bomb. I mean, there's a conspiracy that they actually did get a dirty bomb and used it at Kursk, which is a battle on the Eastern Front. But it's never really been proven. It was worth looking into, actually. I just thought of that. Just remembered that one. Yeah, I think they were definitely toying with that stuff. Because wasn't that what movie was about? The heroes of Telemark. They blew up the dam in Norway so they couldn't get the heavy water they needed to...
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So
I think if they are doing this, it has to be, led by UFOs for sure, because it's going against what we've made for, quite a few years. The normal style planes and stuff. It's a totally different shape, isn't it?
unless we're further ahead than they let us believe. In secret they've got flying triangles that can go to Mars within like 3 hours.
What did that guy from Skunkworks say?
He said that we're 50 years ahead of where we think we are. There was a problem with Einstein's equations. They fixed it and now they can go to fucking Mars in 3 hours. Can't remember his name now. He died of cancer not long after saying that at a meeting. Skunkworks, for anyone that doesn't know, is like the top secret division of Boeing. They made the stealth fighter, they made the U-2, they made the that sweet one that used to go really high. I can't remember its name. The Black Hawk? No, not the Black Hawk. I can't remember what it's called. It's going to piss me off now. Anyway, it's all the top secret stuff, and this guy's in charge of it, and he says, "Yeah, we're 50 years ahead." You're like, well, fuck me. Who knows?
Indeed.
Maybe they did get their tech from either possibly meeting aliens, which I still believe, or maybe the Nazis are doing a deal themselves but lost anyway. Maybe they just couldn't figure the shit out in time. Maybe the Nazi bell crashed at Roswell in 47. The Americans got it, picked it up, fixed it, tried to use it themselves, and ended up crashing it in 1960s Kecksburg. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's like the Philadelphia experiment. I watched that the other week. It was shit. I forgot how bad it was. That's my theory, anyway.
I think it's a bollocks, personally.
Oh,
the red Mercury sank it for me.
Man. Well, Nazis and time travel. It's not a good combination.
No.
Unlike, exactly like the Philadelphia Experiment 2, where they send a jet fighter back in time to the Nazis.
Fuck, did you watch that as well?
I nearly did.
Moving on then?
Yeah.
Okay, the Aztec death whistles.
Guys, I'm going to just take the headphones off a
I'm not
moment.
going to put it on yet.
Well, I want warning when I do.
Okay.
I'll give you I need to give you a warning. We heard this before the show started, and you may want to, turn the volume down when Mike gives you the 5-second warning or something.
When odd, skull-shaped grave items were found by archaeologists decades ago in an Aztec temple in Mexico, they were assumed to be mere toys or ornaments, and were
Yeah, little skull-shaped items given to the kids. Happy Sunday. No, they love the sun, didn't they?
Death Day.
Happy Death Day. Here's a little skull. Fucking hell.
And they were catalogued and stored in warehouses. However, years later, experts discovered they were creepy death whistles that made piercing noises resembling a human scream, which the ancient Aztecs may have used during ceremonies, sacrifices, or during battles to strike fear into their enemies.
Fucking hell, imagine you're lining up to get sacrificed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no escape. You stood on the steps, there's guards either side of you. You can hear the people screaming above you as it is. And then every now and again some fucker steps in and blows that in your face. You're already shitting your pants.
Do you want to hear it then?
Yeah, hang on, I'll just take the headphones off. Fuck me, the Aztecs are creepy bastards. Sorry anyone who had their eardrums blown out by that.
That'd shit you up, wouldn't it?
Yes! Yes, it would. Shit me up, but I'm just fucking sat in here.
You're in the jungle, you're waiting to attack the enemy, and then you start hearing that all around you. You don't know where it is.
Yeah, and then these fucking guys with jaguars fucking skins jump out the trees at you and start fucking hitting you with flint-edged wooden clubs or whatever they used. No thanks. The Aztecs are creepy fuckers.
Well, 2 of these whistles were found in the temple of the wind god Hecate,
Maybe.
in the hands of a sacrificed male skeleton. When the whistles were finally blown, the sounds created described as terrifying, and the male online described it as a scream of 1,000 corpses.
Fucking hell. Jesus. Well, yeah, it's fucking terrifying. It is.
They've got like a Day of the Dead type skull on the front, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They loved to skull, the Aztecs, didn't they? It's not just to rip your heart out. Let's put the skull on display too.
Mm.
Twats.
It's a homage to the human form, isn't it?
Hmm?
Personally, I think they look like little mini bongs.
They do a bit.
You could use it as a bong.
Possibly.
Put the spliff in its mouth.
Yeah. Definitely, use it as a pipe.
Yeah. What?
Might fucking freak you out a bit though if you breathe out half it. Screams. No, not for me. Nah, but that was the Aztecs are bastards, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, the Spanish weren't much better. The old conquistadors. Did have some fucking audacity though, that Hernan Cortez. Turned up with 60 blokes, then ended up taking down a fucking empire.
Didn't he kill most of them through
disease? Yeah, there was that. Didn't help. It was great because the Aztecs had shit tons of gold, but didn't actually recognise. I told you this, didn't I? They didn't recognise it as being that valuable. They were like, "Oh yeah, you want some of that? Yeah, take it. The shitloads."
Yeah.
The Europeans are like, "Ha ha!
Shit is easy."
Yes.
Still wasn't enough though, was it?
No.
They got greedy, had to kill them all and take more.
And conquer the area and then rule it for a few hundred years and do a really shitty job of it. Oh, so what goes around comes around, eh?
They just want the money and the power, don't they?
Yeah, it's all about the wealth, innit? Bloody capitalism. Claire?
Okay, so we're going back to the space topic here, and we're talking about
A mirror.
a mirror.
Or on a moor if you want to be lazy
On
like
a
me.
mirror, if you want to be.
Incorrect, like Ben.
Yay!
So I'm not sure we've covered this on Weird News before. It might have been because
We have covered it briefly when it first happened, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've been watching it as it's been flying past us.
Well, it's gone now, hasn't it, I think?
Well, it's a slingshot around the sun and gone flying away at 196 miles an hour.
196,000.
1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, fucking fast. Fastest thing I think we've ever encountered, isn't it, in this solar system?
I just know it's an alien probe.
It looks like a cigar.
Shaped like
Shaped.
every single UFO, well, most UFO sized cigar-shaped craft. This is shaped like a cigar, ergo, alien probe.
It's weird, isn't it? Never seen anything like that.
So it was discovered in November 2017 by somebody funded by NASA. It was first put down to be like an asteroid, or no, it was first a comet, but then they've called it an asteroid now, haven't they?
No, I don't think so.
It
Now behaves more like a
more
comet.
like a comet, yeah.
Or an alien probe.
Or an alien probe.
Well, it's sort of spinning. It's not just like. Whoosh.
Yeah, but that could be part of the scanning. They just found us. They know we're here.
It's up to 1/4 of a mile long, 10 times long as it is wide.
Yeah, that's aspect ratio is greater than any other asteroid or comet observed in our solar system to date. So it's got to be a probe.
Do you think?
Yep.
So while its elongated shape is quite surprising, and unlike objects seen in our solar system, it may provide new clues into how other solar systems are formed.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. Everything else you've ever seen is just it's a vague hunk of rock, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're saying that it's like coming out of a, possibly newly formed galaxy or something. Because, the fact that it's come sort of moving towards us and, been sort of slingshot around.
How did it get its shape though? That's what confuses me. It's such a unique shape, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's Jester the show catcher just heard. It is. That's the thing. It's the shape of it. The fact that he just decided to slingshot around the sun, I think, is odd. But then again, maybe it found what it was looking for. They are coming.
Well, they're saying that it's been unattached to any star system for hundreds of millions of years before it's come flying past us. This could be like, one of any that could come flying past into very close to.
Yeah, well,
isn't it?
That's it. I mean,
I know, but the distance between the stars is so vast for the chance for it to come into our solar system. That's why it's the first thing we've ever seen, and we've never seen anything like it since.
But we have been only looking, for the last
We have.
400 years
It's
or something
nothing
like that.
on a
Yeah,
time
it's a
scale.
blip, isn't it?
Yeah.
NASA can only see like X amount of the sky at any one time anyway, can't they? Well, they've only got the budget to map so much of it.
Yeah.
So it's really
And
lucky
only
that they
things
saw
of a
it.
certain size. You can't see things too small.
Hmm.
But obviously this is quite big. 1/4 of a mile, isn't it?
Yeah. Spins on its axis every 7.3 hours. If that's not some kind of anti-grav thing, I don't know. Some kind of propulsion system.
It's just
It's
momentum.
it's been
It's-
sort
yeah.
of thrown out, isn't it, from wherever it
Yeah.
first come from.
I'm telling you, it's a probe, man. They're coming for us. They're good or bad, they're coming for us.
Well, if we're to believe you, they're already here. Yeah, so what the point is the fucking probe
and they're
then?
coming for us.
Make up
Different
your
race.
mind.
Mike.
Oh, the different race, they're a bit behind then, aren't they? Because you're saying that some have been here for centuries and
Yeah,
millennia.
maybe. I've never said that. I've never said that at all. I don't go for the ancient aliens thing, actually, or a lot of it anyway. Some of it maybe, not all of it. Not the pyramid building crap, I don't go for that. Well, maybe, a little bit. Maybe they had supervision. I don't know. But, I'm telling you, probe. I can believe in whatever alien conspiracies I want.
You can, but you got no evidence for it.
You've presented,
Yes.
presented loads of evidence over the course of this podcast. Loads of high quality testimonies from respected witnesses.
Okay.
Why so quiet, Mike? Because you know I've won.
No, because you're fucking dubious bloody sources.
What dubious sources?
The fucking hillbillies for one.
That was a proper fucking sighting. Kelly Hopkinsville in Kent, telling you. Check it out. Sorry, Claire. Please continue.
It's quite alright. Well, it's come from Vega, that ways.
Vega, I'm sure that's been linked in with some kind of alien race before now.
Probably.
And astronomers estimate that an interstellar object similar to Oumuamua passes through the inner solar system about once a year. But they are faint and hard to spot and have been missed, just like that one that was a couple of weeks ago. We only saw it when it went past. We were like, hi.
Oh yeah, that was pretty close.
There's another probe. It's only recently that survey telescopes such as Star S1 are powerful enough to have the chance to discover them. So.
Well, my opinion has not changed.
Didn't think it would.
Still a probe.
Still a probe. I think it's
Could be, it could be, who knows? Could be. It's weird, isn't it?
But it shows that there's other. Well, we know that there's other galaxies out there, but it shows that there's other hard material, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the asteroid.
Well, we know that there's asteroids around for ages and stuff, but something that's come from outside the galaxy can come flying in, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, who knows where it's come from? Really, I mean, just could have got caught up by into some pull or something, and just been cruising towards us since, and then it's gone slingshot around the sun and gone. I think personally that's a pre-programmed route. It's heading back to the mothership. That's me. But the Pentagon has admitted that something's visiting us. Who do we know that wasn't to?
Might be. I mean, it'd be ingenious disguise, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, these humans are dumb. Make it look like an asteroid. Do you know them fucking humans got fooled by that wooden horse? Send it as an asteroid.
Yeah. And any species that are on planets would just think it was just an asteroid just passing through, and at the time it could be taking pictures and fuck knows what else it could be doing.
Maybe it was the post-pod to the alien base on the moon, to the hollow moon. Because the moon is just actually a gigantic alien base.
You say that's the male fucking
That was
wagon.
the male pod, yeah. It dropped it off and slingshotted around the sun, went off to its next drop. It was like the Amazon of space. Space Amazon. There you go.
Who knows? Certainly creepy and weird.
Maybe the guys on the moon received new orders. Moving to the next phase. Who knows? Mike's just looking at me to say, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, I still think it's probably a comet or asteroid.
It's a pity we couldn't just jump on its back and fly out to outer space.
I'll ride it like a magic carpet.
That's a good idea, actually.
Is it?
Not us personally, but you could put a probe on it, and then you could, it's travelling
I was
so fast.
I was just sitting here thinking about the logistics of it as you were chatting. I was like, I'm going to get something onto the back of something that's going, 130 odd, 190 odd and 1,000
Well, we've
miles
landed
an
on
hour.
comets now,
Yeah.
so we've done that.
Hang on. Why not us? Why can't we go to a comet?
What, that's leaving the solar system is never coming back?
It
You just
might
want to take a chance?
Think of where we go.
Yeah.
Just got to wait for the
Empty
next one.
space for the next 1,000 years.
We might get picked up by aliens.
Go on then.
Why couldn't we do it? We'd be just as efficient as anyone else in the films.
We haven't got replicators yet.
Well, that's true. But even so.
If you sat in a spacesuit, where's your oxygen going to come from?
Well, obviously we've figured all that stuff out. You know,
Oh,
oxygen
have we?
recyclers and all that.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have definitely chucked something at that asteroid thing, shouldn't they, NASA? Just
Yeah.
the slingshot it onto it as it, you know, went flying past.
Like a coyote with a rocket strapped to its back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trouble is, coyotes aren't going to fare better in space than you.
Definitely not going to go beep beep.
Also, they can't actually then translate what they're seeing back to us. I think it's a bit cruel.
Oh, well, it's so it'd be fun if we did Roadrunner. You know. Okay, I understand it's cruel.
And didn't the coyote always miss?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck, the coyotes are useless.
That's why they don't employ them in NASA, men. They just cheat with the cables and shit everywhere. They have no help whatsoever.
And occasionally attack staff members.
Yeah, give them rabies.
Well, how do they get the coyotes in the building? They put a Roadrunner inside.
Oh, dear.
As soon as they all heard that meet, they all like fucking just ran out the building.
We got you now. Send us to the moon.
So coyotes don't run the space program then.
Afraid not.
Oh. Oh well. That's burst my bubble. What's next? Right then, so up next we've got America's Leprechaun. Love it. It's a puckwudgie.
A what?
A puckwudgie.
A puckwudgie?
It's an American leprechaun.
So these Irish leprechauns that have come across the ocean.
Maybe they did, clinging to the ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from Wampanoag legends. I presume they're Native American Indians. And it tells of a small troll-like being that can set fire to things, shoot poison arrows, and lure unsuspecting people to their doom.
Sounds like the leprechaun of the Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you may be a puckwudgie. Let's go down. They originate with Native American lore, as we said. They are extremely dangerous. They may still play little tricks here and there, but they just as soon steal a pie off a windsill as push someone off a cliff.
Savage.
Yeah. And steal your pie. They'll push you off a cliff and steal your pie. They used to be really super friendly.
Oh, that looks like a troll.
Yeah, look at him. They weren't always so mean and nasty. They first started out trying to be kind to us. Yeah, basically they got jealous of the creator, the mouse shop, a creation giant who created most of the land that the Wampanoag Indians lived on. So these puckwudgies started doing nice things, helping them out in a way, but unfortunately every time they tried to offer aid it usually backfired, resulting in destruction and chaos.
Bit like the Indian and the white man, innit?
Yeah.
Every time they tried to help us, which they did originally.
Mhm.
The Pilgrims, was it?
Yeah, Thanksgiving, that's what Thanksgiving's about,
Yeah.
isn't it?
The Indians helped them, didn't they? And
They did.
repaid the favour by
Giving them smallpox infected blankets.
Rough.
Yeah. So in the absence of Mouse Shop, who stepped away, the puckwudgies began to kill, burn and kidnap people from the tribes. Mouse Shop even sent his sons to deal with it, and the puckwudgies killed them as well. These violent little bastards.
It's just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
turned on them, haven't they?
They may actually kill people.
well, they pushed them off cliffs.
Well, they wish vengeance on humanity
Take
for their
their pies.
mistreatment.
Good job, every other fucking living species doesn't want that, innit? We will be fucked. We don't have the dogs and cats with us, probably.
Well, because they thought they were being so nice to us, they take it out on whoever messes with them or whoever they encounter. Throughout the centuries, they've been known to kidnap children and attack their victims viciously if crossed. They've been said to blind their victims with sand to the face and may use other trickery to even push people off a cliff.
Sandy Miser!
If appeased with small gifts and shown respect, they may choose to leave you alone, but this is not always certain. Instead, they may choose to play minor tricks like causing you to forget things or confusing you so they get lost.
Have you been encountering one of these recently, man?
So what, you got to leave little gifts outside your house, or what's the crack?
I don't know, you sort of give them some bread or something and make them happy. Jack them off.
Bread?
Jack 'em off!
They may even attack your entire family while they laugh evilly. Come on, these... Yeah. Nowadays they look more animal than human. They're said to have smooth grey skin that was unblended in the forest, spines down their backs and enlarged fingers, ears and noses, walk on 2 feet and can move pretty quickly. These things are between 2 and 3 feet tall, at knee height-ish, and they work in groups.
They're knee height-ish, and people aren't booting them.
Yeah, but you'll be like going through the path and you'll hear there's like this chittering.
Yeah, you just walk along, suddenly they throw sand in your eyes and then they're on you.
There's loads of them.
Yeah, they work in groups. It's like Jurassic Park. He's like
gremlins.
So you know, he's like a little one coming in the bush chittering, and then he's like clever, you know, like clever girl, and then one jumps at you from the side. Yeah. And they can turn into massive porcupines. They can shapeshift.
Fuck me.
Huge walking porcupines.
Start shooting spines at you.
Yeah, it can. It walks on its hind legs. It can use its spines for both defence and attack. And they can become a full-size cougar.
A step too far now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on it. And they can create fire at will.
Fire-breathing cougars.
Yeah. They created fire in order to burn down the homes of the ungrateful people who did not appreciate their good deeds. They can also set arrows ablaze and start wildfires.
What, maybe like little goblins?
Exactly, little crotch goblins, aren't they? They may glow in the dark.
Funny how we've never seen one, though, isn't it?
How do you know we haven't?
I don't think they'd overrun us. How much intellect are they really going to have?
Well, can a Puggerwoodgie stand up to an AR-15 assault rifle?
What's the chance of them doing good deeds as well?
Oh, well, they thought they did good deeds, but every time they did, disaster usually happened, So, hey, we built you a dam using shoddy materials and lax construction methods, and then 3 weeks later it collapses and kills, loads of people in the village, and they're like, oh, well, we tried to help. We were being nice. Fuck you, humanity.
Knowing the people in the village, they turn around, get a load of people together and go and hunt them, and they'd be next week's handbag.
I've got some Puggerwoodgie shoes coming. It's a creepy American Leprechaun, though. That's kind of fun. So there's one cryptid I might be down for. You know, those Indians are onto something, weren't they, Mike? You loved the Native American Indian way of life. And their mythos.
Do I?
I thought you did.
It's new to me.
I respect their way of life. Yeah, it was more sustainable than ours, much more harmonious, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, they only took what they needed, didn't they?
That's it. I think we've got a lot to learn from them. They call them savages.
Oh, right. Well,
and they had these little fuckers
running around biting their ankles.
Flaming arrows and stealing souls. It can take control of your soul.
Oh, fuck.
It does this in order to use you as a sort of power or warrior against others, and can basically send you out to haunt other people. Your own family may hear your laughter in their nightmares or see you walking around even though you've already passed on.
They're using your body as an avatar.
Yeah.
They've murdered your soul and taken over your
body?
Yeah, your vehicle.
Bastards. So, although the forgetful thing, maybe I have been visited by one.
Nah.
My memory's been terrible.
That'd be the weed.
You could have been sucked off by one you don't even know.
I wonder what the bite marks were.
Crotch goblins. You're lucky you still got your car.
It's too big for him to take, Mike.
Move on, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Has anyone heard of If Day?
No.
No.
The occupation of Manitoba,
Okay.
which is a province in Canada.
Right. You got my attention.
On the frigid Winnipeg morning of February the 19th, 1942, Diane Edgelow's mother sent her out to buy a loaf of bread. She was 12 years old and got the shock of her life when she crossed the bridge into downtown. They were guarded by German soldiers. They seemed to be everywhere, she recalls. I was so scared. Paying for the bread, she was handed a Reichsmark in change.
What the fuck? What's that, mate? You know, you're giving me... I'm giving you Canadian dollars and you're giving me... What's this? What literally... Has the exchange rate been figured out yet? How much is this worth? What can I buy with this? I know nothing about this coin you've given me.
Well, you just take it and walk off.
Yeah, you take it
like,
Oh, I don't want to say nothing, but looks German to me. Well, I'll put it in the collection. Next thing you know, a bunch of blokes and coos stepping down the street.
Yeah. You're not going to say anything because there's armed German guards next to him.
Oh yeah, they were guarding the bridges, weren't they?
Yeah.
Surprised they let her through.
So you can't even remember from the bridge to the shop.
Yeah, just seems strange they bothered to change the currency. We go through all the... Because they go into all the hassle of, like, making occupation Reichsmarks. They must be slightly different to a normal Reichsmark.
No, it's a German one, isn't it? So she said.
Oh, yeah, alright, okay. Well, even so, it seems strange they bothered to take Reichsmarks with them.
And
Well,
would
you'll
it be the
find
normal shop owner, you know, just handing them over? Wouldn't
Yeah,
she give
like-
them a sort of look?
Like, what the
what's
fuck's
this,
this?
mate?
And you're
Hey,
like,
what's
hey,
that?
yeah, hey, Pete, hey, you know, I've been coming in every day buying bread, mate.
Well, he
what's
just
this?
has to raise his
What's his
shoulders and go,
12?
just get out.
Or is he just like, oh yeah, the Germans invaded this morning and come around and give me a bucket of changes, I don't know who's this now?
Unlucky, see you later.
Didn't tell me the exchange rate though. For all I know, I'm just giving you like 50 Reichsmarks in change. I don't
You're
know.
doing that for yourself, aren't you?
I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. 1 minute I was Canadian, next minute I'm German, I don't know.
I feel the same. Something's not right here. Well, it wasn't supposed to be a surprise. 2 days earlier, the Winnipeg Tribune had run a front page story of a planned mock Nazi invasion. Winnipeg to be occupied. What would it mean to Manitobans if Nazi hordes spread across the province? But not everybody read the daily newspapers.
Well, surely she'd have fucking heard the... So they've got a load of Canadians to dress up as Germans and run this little mock occupation, right? Well, surely she'd have heard them talking, like when she crossed the bridge and they weren't speaking fucking German and they're sounding like Canadians. Surely she'd have twigged they weren't German. Oh, that German sounds suspiciously Canadian. He's speaking
What's all
English.
this about?
What exactly? What you doing about? You know, this girl's an idiot. I'm sure there must have been telltale signs.
Well, she says no one in our house would read the paper. She's now a retired nurse. I don't think my mum would have sent me down to the store if she knew there was going to be soldiers dressed like that. Maybe I wouldn't have been so scared if I had been told before. Being scared was part of the intended effect. The operation, the largest military manoeuvre in Winnipeg history, was in support of an effort to boost sales of victory bonds and was widely publicised all over North America. Much of the public had been viewing the war as something far away overseas. Bond sales needed a lift. Dubbed If Day, the exercise was to give Manitobans a taste of what it would be like to give up the everyday civil liberties they take for granted, enticing them to buy bonds to fight the Axis powers.
So basically, we're going to dress our military personnel up like German soldiers. We're going to let them loose in the town. They're going to arrest you for doing fuck all. They're going to crack down on your civil liberties for the day. Everyone's giving you Reichsmarks in change. You can vary your papers all the fucking time everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah. Oh, this will happen if you don't give us money. Give us some money or this will happen. Yeah. So are you spending enough? You tax me to the hilt as it is. And my 4 sons have gone.
Well, people were thinking it was a war far, far away, and they wanted to make people know that this is what could happen if the Nazis win.
It's pretty unlikely the Nazis would have got to America, though.
They did in
Yes, they did an Philip K. Dick book, Mike. The Man in the High Castle.
That's
Yes, yes, in that work of fiction they did, yes.
It's possible.
No.
Well, the manoeuvres have been planned for months. Realistic German army uniforms are rented from a Hollywood supplier, complete with helmets, belts, badges and boots. Donning the outfits and acting as stormtroopers are members of the Young Men's section of the Winnipeg Board of Trade. Defending the city was a mobilised force of 3,500 soldiers drawn equally from active and reserve forces. It was meticulously designed to be as realistically as possible, affecting all walks of life, particularly those that would suffer under a Nazi regime. Homes, shops, schools, churches, restaurants, city bars, city hall, libraries, hotels, newspapers, radio stations, even the provincial legislature. Progress of the invasion and its defence was broadcast throughout the province. Coverage was to be continent-wide. Life magazine, Associated Screen News of Canada, and most major North American newspapers and newsreel organisations were in town, anxious to cover every aspect.
Well, she didn't twig on at that point when there was sitting on a journalists around.
The invasion was launched on the morning of IF Day with a 7 a.m. siren signalling a blackout.
And she didn't twig on at that point.
Street lights were shut off and residents doused their lights. Starting from a 3-mile perimeter from the city centre, the German troops advanced on the Dark City. Artillery first opened fire in East Kildonan. Royal Canadian Air Force aircraft with temporary Luftwaffe insignia flew overhead in mock bombings to soften up resistance.
Fucking hell! Jesus Christ!
To shoot them down, cars with anti-aircraft guns loaded with blanks boomed from the streets.
Fucking, this is having a fucking war! Oh, 7 a.m, the fucking siren goes. You're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Oh man, oh, blackout, alright. Next thing you know, the fucking Air Force are buzzing your house and there's anti-aircraft fire going, what the fuck's going on? You have a fucking heart attack?
Fixed ACAP units were stationed at City Hall, the Canadian National Railway Depot, Osborne Stadium and the Paris Building. Smoke pots obscured main intersections where defenders were stopping all cars to check registration cards. At 7:30 the defenders strategically withdrew to a 2-mile ring, but by 8:30 they could no longer hold and 15 minutes later had to further withdraw to bridges and avenues leading to downtown. As the Blitzkrieg advanced towards downtown,
Jesus Christ!
nothing was in their way. I was one of the young guys in the militia, recalls George Hoffman, then a 19-year-old private with the 1st Cavalry Division Service Corps. He remembers getting up at 4:30 that -8-degree morning and being picked up by Minto Barracks. They stuck us in the suburbs at the cross streets, out in the boonies more or less, mostly in the residential areas. We were there for a while. Hoffman, now 94, says the German forces didn't take prisoners.
Fucking hell!
No, in fact we were briefed on what we should and should not do. One of the things we were not to do is get physical with these guys because it was all a big act and we didn't want anybody to get hurt. Now imagine, I mean they got guns in Canada.
Yeah?
Imagine some old guy just came out with a shotgun and started shooting people.
Yeah.
Thinking they were German soldiers. By 9:30 the attacking forces had overrun most of the defenders. As the overwhelmed defence forces retreated towards downtown, demolition squads launched their scorched earth policy, setting off dynamite charges to destroy bridges including Maine, Provencher and Louise to slow the enemy advance. A deafening explosion blew river debris onto the Northwood Bridge. Great volumes of smoke rose from its centre supports. Officially it was blown up and destroyed. The dynamite had actually been placed on the ice near the bridge, but it had the intended psychological effect. Rifle fire continued to crackle across the bridges in the breaking dawn.
Fucking hell, I'm waking up to this!
As the battle progressed, ambulances and converted light delivery trucks brought in the wounded to the casualty clearing station in the Donington Motors building. The only real casualties were a soldier's sprained ankle and a housewife who had slashed her thumb during the blackout. After the 9:30 surrender, the Nazis quickly started their work on the citizenry. Churches are stormed, priests arrested, signs posted, verboten. It is forbidden to hold services of worship here. Schools are occupied and teachers arrested. In one school, Principles of Democracy, Our Way of Life, was erased from the blackboard and orders were given to teach only the Nazi truth. Private homes are forcibly entered, pillaged and looted.
What?
Yeah. There The realism
Is
continues.
this an exercise? Is it a chance to rob people? Is this the greatest heist of all time? Just like...
For war bonds.
Yeah, right, what we'll do is... No, it's not even...
Nickel the silver.
It's not even for war bonds, we'll use them as Nazis. We use them as Canadian soldiers, right?
Yeah.
We can get all the gear.
It's organised crime.
This is just a heist. Lenny, you're going to get the tanks.
Local radio stations commenced broadcasting Adolf Hitler's speeches and playing On William Avenue, occupying troops rushed into the library and soon emerged with armloads of books, tossing them into a bonfire, laughing gleefully. I caught a glimpse of the burning books as Hoffman, who was at first alarmed, but then I read in the paper these were books the library was going to destroy anyway, but they were used to build this bonfire. But a lot of people didn't know what was going on. On the street, newspaper vendors were hassled and their papers turned up. The Winnipeg Tribune became Das Winnipegger Lugenblatt.
Oh, so they went to the trouble of fucking printing a paper?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Then, led by a monocled German officer...
Oh, it's got to be monocled.
Yeah. 6 soldiers rushed into the legislature building and arrested government officials. Out they came with Lieutenant Governor R.F. McWilliams, Premier John Bracken, his Minister of Mines and Resources, his Attorney General, his Minister of Education and 4 of the ministers. At City Hall, Winnipeg Mayor John Queen, several aldermen and the city clerk were arrested and imprisoned, along with the provincial officials in Lower Fort Garry, commandeered as a German internment centre.
Wow. Oh man, they burnt the Union Jack.
The Union Jack was burned and the swastika flag hoisted. Installed in Mayor Queen's office was a Gauleiter, a regional leader of the Nazi Party named Colonel Erich von Nuremberg. Nuremberg set to work immediately, ordering proclamations posted on telephone poles announcing new restrictions on citizens. A 9:30 nightly curfew restricted gatherings, enforced home billeting for German soldiers. That's a place where soldiers sleep, isn't it? A billet.
Yeah, well what you do is you go, okay, you knock on the door, you got 4 soldiers with you, and you say, okay, these 4 guys live with you now, it's your responsibility to feed them as well as give them... You get their rations, you cut their rations, and they're going to live in your house.
So imagine that.
It's knocking on my door.
Yeah, literally, so these guys are living in your house now.
Yeah, that's it.
You're going to feed them with their, cause, as well as their rations.
Will they be sleeping under the stairs with the dog?
Well, no, you might get a bed if you're lucky, maybe that's how you sleep on the floor. They've got guns, you haven't.
Yeah.
You got spud guns.
You get spud guns. Again, it's the lack of it's the potato logistics you got to think about with that. I mean, they're carrying like about 100 rounds of ammo and you've got 3 or 4 potatoes in your pockets.
This one boasts 80 per spud, I suppose, but it's on the surface area of the spud, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, that's how it's worked out in modern spud gun to physics. Yeah, all the shots per potato are calculated via surface area on the medial line.
Indeed.
And you can cut it and go again, can't you?
You probably do that too, yeah. Yeah.
You put spud guns for your kids, aren't you, for Christmas?
Yeah.
Von Nuremberg, anyway.
Yeah. Enforced home billeting for German soldiers, farmers to report all grain and livestock holdings, and no national emblems may be displayed except the swastika. Organised resistance will mean death without trial. He declared the city would now be known as Himmlerstadt.
What the fuck?
The action wasn't all confined to the provincial capital. Many other Manitoba towns played along. Flin Flon, what a brilliant name for a town, sounded its siren at 7:15 a.m. to announce the advance on Winnipeg, and the radio station brought updates on the capital's battle. Eventually, even Flin Flon City Hall and the radio station were occupied by enemy forces. Hoffman reckons the operation was realistic enough and effective. No shit.
So how long did it go on for?
It's a day.
1 whole day.
So they're going to wake me up at 7 o'clock with a fucking siren. Then there's going to be a pitched battle outside my fucking house. Right?
If you go anywhere, you're going to get dragged off to some sort of detention camp for the rest of the day. And you're like...
By 9 o'clock, you're watching Canadian soldiers getting marched down the street at gunpoint. Right? The Germans are putting swastikas up everywhere. You go out there and see what's going on. Next thing you know, you're getting fucking, where are your papers? And That's it, you're getting either detained, or like, get on with it, what you doing, go get the shop then, fuck off, you know. It's fucking insane.
It's mad, isn't it?
But surely, right, I mean, this is amazing, yeah? This is fantastic in its own gruesome, horrible, PTSD-inducing way. Right? It's majestic, and I love it. But the effort required... I mean,
you'll see what was worth it in a minute.
It's a bit much, you know. I mean,
What about the old people? Seen it just years before? Just Alzheimer's victims?
yeah, Alzheimer's sufferers. You know, some old guy who was in the First World War. Next thing you know, he's fucking going outside with his old Lee Enfield.
Yeah. He's in a fucking church tower. Sniper in the Canadian Army, dressed in German uniforms.
Hit them on the butt with his gun.
Yeah.
Well, the following day, the freedom of Manitobians was restored and the city returned to normal. A giant billboard with a map of the province was erected at Portage in Maine. It was divided into 45 sections, each one representing 1 million in bonds sold. As the campaign worked towards Manitoba's $45 million quota, on each section was placed a Union Jack until the entire map was covered. The momentum was unstoppable. The province had beat its quota. A cumulative $47,073,500 was raised. That's about $658 million in today's dollars.
Wow.
So
they're getting sponsored.
No, these were the normal people buying bonds. What you do is you buy an army bond,
Right.
and then they guarantee you're going to get interest paid back after the war.
Right.
But you
A
got
lot of people didn't get paid.
Yeah. They
So
never do.
It's a bit of a con.
Yeah. Basically, they're asking you, like, look, the war's really expensive, and you got any spare cash? We'll give you this bond with the promise that we'll give you a little bit extra back if everything goes okay.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, and obviously...
And of
reserve
course,
the right
people were
not
like,
to.
well, the war's over there. You know, we're in Canada, we're safe. Of course, they did this, and everyone thought, fuck me, it could happen here.
What if it does happen here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quick, build some more tanks, here's some money.
Yeah.
That's like another $47 million to throw into the war budget. Production, building shit, training people, paying people.
Yep.
Wars are expensive.
For Hoffman, the exercise helped fuel the patriotic reaction, and Diane Edgelow still has her souvenir Reichsmark. A little girl.
Ah, and the day she suffered severe PTSD and had a nervous breakdown and pissed herself in the street.
Well, it's better than the church. The church just doesn't say it want
Yeah,
money
and
for
dragging
God.
the vicar out.
It's like, I want the money for God, but you know, at least these guys are like, well, yeah, we need more tanks, we need more this, we need more that. You know.
Yeah, but what if you've been going to church, you know, going down to church, la-di-da-di-da, there's a fucking Nazi fucking half-track parked up outside, and the priest being physically wrestled down the steps and thrown in the back.
Oh yeah.
Then they're putting a fucking stick banging a nail in the door, verboten, no more religion, fuck you, pictures of Hitler everywhere. It seems like a lot of effort, but I know they made a lot of money, but how much did it cost to stage?
I
Yeah.
imagine not that much, you volunteers, don't you?
Well, yeah, but you've still got
Drafted in reserves in the army.
you got to get some Reichsmarks, you got to make the uniform. They
From
look-
Hollywood,
Isn't
they
it a
got
bit bad
donated.
taste
Oh,
as
yeah.
well? In a certain
Yeah.
respect.
Do you think a couple of the guys went nuts and like executed some civilians for added authenticity?
We didn't, they, did they?
No,
Unless it was covered up.
that's it. Was it covered up?
It could have been disastrous. I imagine if like a militia in that
Yeah.
town that didn't hear about it,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and then started and then engaged the enemy on the streets.
Like Dad's army type.
You know, it's just a fucking aircraft really roaring over
Yeah.
the houses.
Mock
Like,
bombings and
mock-
they even had the what do you call them, the ACACs? Is that-
yeah, anti-aircraft guns firing back. You wake up into a fucking war zone. Must have been terrifying. Even blank rounds can kill. Yeah, if you're close enough, yeah. That bullet hasn't had time to break up. It's been terrifying. Obviously very effective, but it seems like a lot of effort. Man, it seems like a lot of effort.
It was nearly $1 billion.
Yeah, there is
Today's
that.
money.
There is that. Wow, I enjoyed that. If day, I'd never heard of that, and I thought I knew everything about World War II.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. Last but not least, we're looking at the cursed ghost ship of Fiji.
Ooh.
Another ghost ship.
Arr.
Arr.
No pirates on this one, unfortunately. The sea is a vast place full of seemingly unfathomable amount of unsolved mysteries. It is also a place at times that seems possessed of a voracious appetite for human souls.
Voracious, I think.
Voracious,
Yeah.
voracious for human souls, with many have gone to their watery graves here, and indeed disappearing in the waves without a trace. So this is the tale of Joyita,
Joyita?
Joyita, which it means little jewel in Spanish.
Ah.
Oh. So some call this the Mary Celeste of the Pacific, and it's one of the most perplexing unsolved maritime disappearances in history. The Joyita was a merchant ship that left Somoza Alpia harbour bound for the Tokelau Islands about 270 miles away. It was found adrift in November 10th, 1955 and was 600 miles west of its intended route. All 25 passengers and crew were missing and never to be seen again.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
So, although listing and in poor condition,
Does listing mean sort of veering to one side?
Yeah, leaning over.
lean
Yeah.
over and such, yeah.
Okay.
The Joyita was extremely buoyant and was not in any danger of sinking. The hull was lined with cork, so
Wow.
it gave it a little bit more buoyancy,
Yeah.
and the captain was aware of this as well.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
It's kind of his job, isn't it?
Yeah. So the barnacle growth was high above the usual waterline on the port side, showed that the Joyita had been listing heavily for some time, because if you keep on going through the water at the same, you're going to get things attaching
Yeah, of course.
where they can get oxygen, those sort of organisms.
Yeah, they used to scrape the holes, didn't they?
Yeah, you get a bit of algae and all sorts. don't
Yeah.
you? So there was some damage to the superstructure. Her flying bridge had been smashed away, and the deckhouse light had been damaged and broken windows. A canvas awning had also been rigged on top of the deckhouse behind the bridge. Don't know what significance that is.
That would suggest to me like it was some kind of, sitting outside area, wouldn't it? Like, oh, stretch a bit of canvas out, we can have a little patio.
I don't know what a flying bridge is.
Isn't that the bit that they steer from?
Is it?
Well, the bridge is the bit where the captain and they steer from, isn't it? What's a flying bridge? Maybe do they have two bridges on a ship?
No idea. I'm not really nautical.
No, me.
Never really been on ships.
I know what the bridge is, but I don't know about flying bridge. I must admit, must be some nautical thing. Fuck it.
So Joyita carried a dinghy and 3 Carly life rafts, and they were all missing when this vessel was found.
So it might suggest that the crew used the life rafts to get off there.
Possibly. Most of the Joyita's cargo was missing too. Medical supplies, timber and various foodstuffs. Although 80 empty 45 gallons of oil drum were left on oil drums, you wouldn't want to take all that, would you?
Exactly, so they took the good stuff and left the shit, which you would do.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've thrown the cargo
Yeah.
because it's missing.
Well, missing or taken on the life rafts.
Yeah.
Maybe they took timber.
Well, if you go into a desert island, they took
Oh, hang on,
timber.
no, they left the foodstuffs.
Did they?
Yeah, medical supplies, timber, various foodstuffs.
yeah.
Although 80 that was missing.
No,
I mean, so what the timber?
most of the cargo was missing too.
Yeah.
Medical supplies, timber, various foodstuffs were missing. So that's the good stuff. You want to take medicine, you want to take food,
Yeah.
and timber. You may want to
They
take.
left
your
the oil drums.
You got the room, yeah.
You could timber and sort of lash together some of these rafts, couldn't you?
Could have done.
Yeah,
Made extra life rafts.
That's a good point.
So the starboard engine was found to be covered with a mattress, while the port's engine clutch was still partially disassembled, showing that the vessel was still running only on one engine.
That's weird. Why is it covered by mattresses? Why would you cover an engine with mattresses? That's fucking odd.
Put out a fire.
The mattresses will
the
burn,
mattress?
Mike.
If there's an oil fire, you You put a wet cloth over it. Maybe they dunk the mattresses in the sea and put them over there.
No, no, that's the worst explanation I've heard for
Maybe
anything.
that's why they had to leave the ship.
I don't get the mattresses thing.
I don't get the mattresses thing either. How does it show that, you know, only one engine was going?
Oh, because that's because the other engine's clutch was disassembled, so someone had been trying to fix it and then done one.
Ah, right. Maybe he just leaned it up against it. You don't know, do you?
No.
So, yeah, the auxiliary pump had been rigged to the engine room, mounted on a plank of wood slung between the main engines. However, it had not been connected.
So they tried to do something about what's presumably either... It's not a leak,
Taking on
is it?
water, yeah.
It's listing, but...
Maybe it was taking on a bit of water, I don't know.
They tried to rig up something but not got round to it. He disassembled the clutch to nick the parts, maybe?
Well, the radio was turned onto the International Distress Channel. However, it was found when the ship was found. There was a break in the cable between the set and the aerial, which could have been quite easily.
The cable had been painted over, obscuring the break. So
Oh.
sabotage, I'm thinking now.
Oh.
Yeah, because they'd be like, why is this radio not working? We can't, I don't know what's wrong with it. Look, the cable's intact. But it isn't. Someone's painted over it.
Or the painter and decorator cut it by accident.
Yeah.
Was scared of getting told off, so he just painted over it as if nothing had happened.
And they go, where the fuck's that painter and decorator? And then they just see a ship with all the food and all the fucking medical supplies. He's like, see it. God. Lash them timber together in the bathroom.
So all the clocks on board stopped at 10:25, and switches for the cabin lighting and navigating lights were on, implying that whatever had occurred had happened at night.
Or they just left the lights on because they knew they weren't going back to it, so they didn't know how long it'd take to sink. You don't want a ship blacked out drifting into yours. You can't see it at night.
So the ship's logbook, sextant, mechanical chronometer and other navigation linked equipment, as well as firearms Miller kept on the boat, were missing. So that suggests that there's more and more to suggest they got off the boat, isn't there, really?
Yeah.
But the doctor's bag was found on deck, containing a stethoscope, a scalpel, 4 lengths of blood-stained bandages. Ooh.
The doctor did it.
The doctor
On the poop deck. With a stethoscope, that's me.
Not the scalpel.
No.
You use a stethoscope to strangle
Somebody on the poop deck.
But surely the 4 lengths of bloodstained bandages suggest that the scalpel was used.
No, because the doctor, when he was trying to strangle him, he fell back and he wounded himself.
So he needed 4 lengths of bandages.
Yeah.
You're not exactly fucking...
Proro,
are you, Mike?
So there's numerous hypotheses for the disappearance of the Joyita's crew, and one of them is not too far away from that, Mike. The captain injured hypothesis.
Oh.
So Captain Miller should have been well aware of the vessel's ability to float, leaving some to speculate that Miller had died or become incapacitated for some reason. Hence the blood-stained bandages. Without him to reassure the other people on board, they may have panicked when the Joyita began to flood and taken the life rafts.
Yeah.
However, this in itself would not account for the missing cargo and equipment unless the vessel had been found abandoned and had her cargo removed.
Pirates could have took the cargo.
Mm-hmm. What if the captain dies or something, right? And they do what everyone
the doctor
does.
strangles him on the...
The doctor strangles him with the stethoscope and then for some
Mustard
reason...
comes out of the side.
and then falls on his own scalpel and cuts himself.
Yeah.
Right? And then the shit well fuck, this ship's listing, what's going on? Oh, so buoyant. So they throw the cargo, try and balance the load, try and lighten the ship.
It's a possibility.
Is it what's more important at this point, the ship sinking or the cargo going overboard?
I'll be the first to start moaning. I can't get to sleep with this list.
I keep rolling against the wall.
The list's getting worse because everybody's rolled under the side.
What's this note? Meet the doctor on the poop deck.
Right, so a friend of Miller, the captain, was convinced that Miller would never have left the Joyita alive. He was convinced he would go down with his ship, given his knowledge of the construction. So
he's like, I know it lists.
Yeah, it's sort of. They're saying it was unsinkable, weren't they?
You get used to it. You get some great quads built up walking up that list. If you do 1,000 steps a day up that list, your quads will be defined as fuck. I'm telling you.
Loads of hench geezers on this
You'll
ship.
never have to skip leg day on this ship. Every day is leg day.
Right. Yeah, so he felt that he wasn't going to leave. So there was a Japanese involvement was another hypothesis. The Fiji Times and Herald quoted at the time from an impeccable source to the effect that the Joyita had been passed through a fleet of Japanese fishing boats during its trip and had observed something the Japanese did not want them to see.
Oh, like them murdering Amelia Earhart.
I was thinking more of a sort of top secret boat.
Well, that too, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they were scouting out the route to Pearl Harbor. I don't know. I don't even know if this is anywhere near Pearl Harbor. I've no idea.
Right, so here we go. The Daily Telegraph, here we go, hypothesised that some still active Japanese forces from World War II were to blame for the disappearance, operating from an isolated island base.
Wow, you know what? Maybe.
That actually happened, didn't it?
Yeah, they got that bloke out in the 70s.
Yeah.
I think he was the last one. They
was-
had to get his fucking commanding officer. They had to track him down. He ran a bookshop somewhere. And they had to fly him out to this fucking Pacific island and stand him there and just shout into the jungle and say, like, hey, come on, it's Lieutenant so-and-so. Come out, buddy. And he's like, look, mate, the war's over. You can stand down now. And he's like, oh, really? Yeah, it's been over for a fucking long time, mate. Didn't you read them leaflets they dropped you? You always were a dumb fuck. They're fucking the boat. Your family's just still sat in Japan waiting for you. Your son's a grown man.
Yeah, but look at the commitment of them soldiers.
So at the time there was still a strong anti-Japanese feeling in the parts of the Pacific and Fiji. There was a specific resentment of the Japan being allowed to operate fishing fleets in local waters. So it could have just been a bit of propaganda, a bit of gossip, to sort of stir the pot, so to speak.
Well,
You got accusing the Daily Telegraph of stirring the racial pot, are you?
No.
So such theories suddenly gained credence when men clearing Joyita found knives stamped "Made in Japan." However,
That's a bit convenient, isn't it?
However, tests on the knives proved negative, and it turned out the knives were old and broken, and quite possibly left aboard from when Joy was used for fishing in the late 1940s. There was also the proposition that the vessel's occupants were kidnapped by Soviet submarine.
Oh, I love it. He's like, God, let's fishing. See that merchant ship? We can have that. Kidnap them. Let's take some more mouths on to feed in our submarine.
Yeah.
I love the fucking knives just made in Japan written on them. Like, oh, how convenient.
So other hypotheses are that modern sea pirates attacked the vessel, killed the 25 passengers and crew, cast their bodies into the ocean, stole the missing 4 tons of cargo.
Maybe.
Okay, there's another one. Insurance fraud hypothesis. It was also revealed that Miller had amassed a large debts after a series of unsuccessful fishing trips on Joyita. However, it would have been difficult to see the events surrounding Joyita as insurance fraud, given that no sea cocks were found open. And
What's a sea cock?
I don't know, what's a sea cock?
It's like basically a hole in the ship.
Like a glory hole.
Yes, but for water. Yes, but bigger and for water.
Well,
I think you can basically, if there's a fire, they use it to flood the ship. If you're listing really heavily to one side, you've taken damage or whatever, then you can use the sea cocks to pump in some water to level the ship out.
Right, okay.
Or to deliberately scuttle it.
I thought it was like a nasty video.
Oh yeah, it actually goes on to say no sea cocks were found open and the ship would be almost impossible to scuttle. Also, Miller was relying on Joyita being chartered for regular runs between Samoa and Tokelau. These government charters would have quickly cleared his debts.
There you go, the financial aspect's not there.
And there's also the mutiny hypothesis.
Mutiny, okay.
Yeah, the subsequent owner of Joyita, author Robin Maugham, spent many years investigating the vessel's past and published his findings as the Joyita mystery in 1962. Maugham agreed that events were started by the flooding from the broken cooling pipe and the failure of the pumps.
Oh, fucking hell.
The mattress found covering the starboard engine was used in either an attempt to stem the leak, here we go, or to protect the electrical switchboard from spray kicked up by the engine's
I thought it
flywheel.
was used to put out fire.
Yeah, because that's what you do. You leave a highly flammable object against something that might catch fire.
I said dip it in the sea first.
Oh, no, yeah. And what about when that dries out?
I'll put the fire out first and then I need to dry it, will it?
I think it's just a massively flawed plan. I tell you what, let's set the sofa on fire and put your mattress across to it and see what happens, shall
I have
we?
to dip it in the bath first.
Oh, we'll dip it in the bath and we'll throw it on the burning sofa. Let's see if we can figure that. See how that goes, eh? Let's test your hypothesis.
Alright, go do it around your house.
No, we're here now. We're doing it here.
Carry on, Claire.
So Miller, knowing Joyita was unsinkable and desperate to reach his destination to clear his debt, pressed on. However, Chuck Simpson and possibly other crew members demanded that he turn back. This could have led to a mutiny, and Miller and the crew struggled, during of which Miller sustained a serious injury. By now the ship was entering heavy weather with winds up to 40 miles an hour and with one engine buggered pretty much and a flooded bilge. Is that the front part of the ship?
Isn't the
bilge
bilge like the
side?
lower decks?
Lower, yeah.
Like the lowest bit of the ship, the bilge, I think.
That's where you get bilge water from.
Yeah, I'm not a nautical cove. I don't know.
So, and then the boat was beginning to labour, so the flooding in the engine would have eventually caused the starboard engine to fail because, it was putting too much pressure on it. That would also, cut electrical power to the ship, wouldn't it?
Well, that's your radio gone as well.
Yeah. Well, the radio was already buggered, wasn't
Well, the
it?
radio was already fucked, but, you got no light, nothing.
So he took the decision to abandon ship.
Wow, in those winds and that storm. No.
I took my chances just sort of staying there and eating what you can until he landed on some island somewhere. You know.
Some paradise island in the Pacific.
Well, it's not far from Fiji, is it? It can't be that bad of weather. During the day, it's got to be pretty warm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Evening temperatures of the sea isn't going to be too nice. But
All right. There's one thing we haven't discussed about this.
Aliens?
Yeah.
Waiting for it.
Crew abducted. There we go. How's that?
I'll give you my theory. I think the captain and the doctor were having an affair.
right.
The doctor gave the captain the old sea cock. He confronted him on the poop deck, the doctor strangled him, cut his arm as he fell on his scalpel, and then the rest of the crew abandoned ship.
So the doctor and the captain were lovers in this scenario.
It was a lover's tip.
Well, these things, happen at sea, so I'm told. Don't know.
Abandoning ship would be a bad news in them, them sort of winds and swells and...
Yeah. In your little lifeboat.
Yeah. That was a real bad call,
Yeah, like a really bad call.
Yeah, but there's a murderer on board the ship.
Well, just throw the bodies overboard and clean the deck.
For the body and the
there's still a
potato.
murderer amongst you. Could kill you any time.
You hold a
Well,
trial.
You hold a murder mystery.
You hold a murder mystery.
in these terrible swells and lightning.
Oh, that'd be a
But
good
they don't.
movie.
No, because they don't give the murderer more chance to kill people.
It's the only way, Mike. It's the only way.
Until then the murderer remains, and then we know who's the killer.
And the lights go out.
The last of us to die will know who the killer is.
Well, we're all going to die in the bloody ship in the little dinghies anyway. This is a bit more fun, isn't it, peeps?
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah.
No?
Pro, you are not, are you?
Claire, what's your theory?
Well, I think it would be, it would be stupid to get in them lifeboats, for sure.
Yeah, I'd rather stay on the bigger boat until I was sure it was going to sink and then get in the lifeboat.
But it wasn't going to sink because it was it got cork.
Yeah, but
the buoyancy was all, even if it was full, was going to be.
Yeah.
You'd be wet,
Maybe
but
they
you'd be
didn't
on
know
top
that.
of something. And you could have waited till you got to a thing. So yeah, I'll go with aliens.
Yeah! Aliens wins. Oh, wow. And that's been the Anthology of the Strange then.
Yeah.
We're going to finish the show on something we haven't done for a long time, and this is your first one, Claire. It's Full Alex.
Right. Oh, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Never go full Alex.
Never go Full Alex.
You want to explain the show, Ben?
Right, so the return of Full Alex, our favourite game show in this flat. So yeah,
It would be
basically...
yours too, Claire, once you've played it, I'm sure.
I've got a friend that is like, he is Full Alex. He loves him. He watches him. He puts, InfoWars on daily,
Oh, God.
and it's quite shocking.
I bet.
We are lovers of Alex here, but more of an ironic kind of way.
I'm not a fan.
I like
Me and
his
Gaz like it.
enthusiasm.
Anyway, but... So what we do is each week Mike finds us a couple of random weirdos that he finds on the net, and then he pitches them against the arch saint of insanity himself, Alex Jones. And the answer, the name of the game is who goes more full Alex this week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's alright to go a little bit Alex, quarter Alex, half Alex, occasionally 3/4 Alex, but never ever go full Alex. Right, so who's up first, Mike?
Up first is Drew Hernandez.
Right, I've heard that name, but I'm not sure who it is.
I'm not sure who he is either.
I thought you might have found that out for us.
No.
Okay.
Because we are such professionals, you should have expected I wouldn't know.
I thought you vetted all of these before. So I was under the impression...
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter who he is, it's what he says.
Okay.
Okay.
We are not going to stand here and be little pansies and allow Antifa and Black Lives Matter threaten us. We are Americans.
Yes, you are, that's
We
true.
are not communists. We are not socialists. We are not deep state agents. We are Americans. And right now, it's your time, America. It's your time to rise. Whether Donald Trump wins or not, it's your time to rise. Because we will not go down without a fight. We will not go down without bloodshed. I don't care. I don't care. The media can take what I say and say that I'm violent. I don't care. Antifa and Black Lives Matter brought us to this point. If they want to fight, then they got one. Because I'm not afraid of these communists. I'm not afraid of these socialists. You know where to find me. You know where I live. Come down. I'm ready for you. 2A all day, baby. We will not go away. We will keep America great. We will make America great again and again and again and again. Let me just say what's on all of your minds. If they want a second civil war, then they got one. Because I will not let this country fall.
Who
I
is
will
it?
not let this country burn. I will fight to the very last breath.
He's a racist Fred Durst. That's who he is. He's an alt-right Fred Durst.
Comes off the stage, he's like, right, I'm going home to watch Netflix. And troll people on the internet.
Well, he seemed very enthusiastic.
Yeah, I wonder how hard he is at home on his own. You know what I mean? It's alright to say that in front of all your fans cheering you along on when it comes to the crunch. Is he ready to lay down his life?
Well, no, because the idea is because he's the speaker, he'll send all those chumps in the crowd out to do it for him, and he'll sit in the back. He's going to be the John Connor of the scenario, in his mind.
And they're saying that they won't give up. Well, it's a democracy. You lost. You won last time. The Democrats had to put up with 4 years of Trump. Mm-hmm. Now you've lost.
I tell you
That's
what,
democracy.
what I've really enjoyed is for the last 4 years being like having sort of snowflake and liberal tears. It turns out the real crybabies were the
Of course.
ones doing all that along. Although both sides as well, but there's some people on the left side of things that are a bit too extreme.
Yeah. Well, there's snowflakes on both sides, isn't there?
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of Republican tears, and you know, it's just one of them things, isn't it? It's what happens. It's an election.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that America's a democracy because it isn't. It's a corporatocracy. It's been bought and sold a long time ago, but you know, the illusion of democracy is there.
Well, it's just weird how it was only fraud in the votes in the states he didn't win. You know, that was...
Well, no, it was real. It happened. The election's real. It's fair. Mm-hmm. You know, but what I'm trying to say is actually, if you look at the two choices, there's not much difference between the two.
Well, no, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, aren't you?
The only people that are going to win are the people at the top.
Yeah.
The normal person's always going to lose in that situation. But, you know, that's something that it's because of money in politics, because of many things, but, you know, this guy's just...
I think he's 3/4 Alex.
You don't think he's full Alex?
No, I'm not sure he's full Alex because, you know, Alex is... I'm not sure he'd use the make us great again, you know, because it's using their slogans and pushing their slogans as opposed to...
Pushing the buttons, innit?
Yeah.
I think that he's basically watched too many new metal videos as a teen, and the minute someone's put a microphone on him, he's put his baseball hat on. He's got his hand going with his chanting, and I think
But he can't sing.
I think he needs to work on his stage presence and get a backing group.
Okay, next up there's John Voight.
And John Voight, I've heard the name.
He is Angelina Jolie's father. He's a famous actor, was in Midnight Cowboy.
Never seen it. Was he anything I might know?
He did shitloads of films, but I can't think on top of my head.
Alright.
He looks familiar.
I think I've seen him in Summit. Alright. That's Chester the Cat. Welcome back.
My fellow Americans, I stand here with all that feel as I do, disgusted with this lie that Biden has been chosen. As if we all don't know the truth. And when one tries to deceive, we know that one can't get away with it. There will be a price to pay. The ones who are jumping for joy now are jumping toward the horror they will be in for. Because I know that the promises being made from the left to the American people will never come to be. My friends of all colors, races, and religions, this is now our greatest fight since the Civil War. The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil, corrupt, and they want to tear down this nation.
They're your neighbours,
We must
man.
not allow this. We must fight this corruption that has taken over and fight for the good that seems lost. Let us give our trust to God and fight now for Trump's victory, because we all know this ballot count is corruption like they are. So let us not back down. Let us fight this fight as if it is our last fight on earth. As Muhammad Ali said, it's not over till the last punch you have. God bless.
Well, not so much full Alex, more just...
Full Bible bash,
Yeah,
yeah?
it's content, isn't it? And sometimes the delivery and the...
I don't think...
And that Muhammad Ali quote's wrong as well, that's fake. He never said that.
I've heard it.
It isn't, it's profound,
It's not
you
over
know.
till the fat lady sings, but...
You know, Muhammad Ali quotes, "Dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee."
Yeah.
Iconic quote. What quote was that? Oh shit! Don't stop until you throw the last punch or something.
Is this? I think this is in response to Biden winning the election, and
Of course.
I bet he's pissed off. He's got Cambodian fucking grandkids, doesn't he? And he's not racist about
What do
it.
you mean Cambodian?
Oh, Angelina Jolie's like adopted like several kids from Cambodia, yeah.
All over
I
the
didn't
place.
know.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with celebrity gossip. So.
I only know that because of a magazine in the doctor's waiting room. That's the only reason I know that. For some reason my brain retained it. Yeah, I think he's just strongly opposed. I think he's just a strong Republican.
But you're saying that Satan's in the White House now?
Oh, they were saying that about Obama 4 years ago, weren't they?
Well, yeah, it's the same old recycled shite, but it's still insane, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the leftists don't want to destroy America. They live there.
Exactly.
You know, what do you mean by they want to destroy America? Destroy your America,
Yeah.
which doesn't exist anymore, or...
And it says they're corrupt. Of course they're corrupt.
Well, yeah, everyone's corrupt
But
in
the
politics.
Republicans aren't as corrupt or more corrupt. Fuck, he's delusional.
Yeah. Alright then, well, let's see what Alex has to offer.
The master.
The master, we have 3 saints of the show, Claire, actually, the patron saints of the show.
Right.
Saint Alex, Saint Tony Blair,
Okay.
and Saint David Icke.
Okay.
Yeah. The liar, the bullshitter, and the war criminal. Or the madman, the liar, and the war criminal.
Yeah.
The Holy Trinity.
Alright, Alex Jones.
Feels good. Just you get them careful. Now just put this on. Just put this on. Okay. Handcuffs. Okay. Let me tell you this. I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Now you're dead, bitch. You're dead, bitch. I'm gonna talk. And he drives you to the torture dungeon. And right now, Fauci and Gates, they got us getting in the van. And you can see the wild-looking Gates' eye and Fauci. They're like, because they are already getting to wipe out 100 million people. And that gets them hard. Seriously, Bill Gates is creaming himself right now.
Well, so we had John Voight, we know the truth, and that Satan is now in the White House. We have Drew Hernandez, aka racist Fred Durst, and of course Alex. So a racist.
Alex sort of like replaying his sort of rape fantasies live on air.
Yeah. Alex wins it for me this week, in all fairness. Alex has got it. His passion convinced me. See, the first guy, Joe Hernandez, had plenty of passion. I'll give him that. But at the same time, I've seen that so many times at concerts. I've seen a lot of new metal bands.
Fred Durst calling for civil war.
No, but the whole throwing your hand up and all that and wearing the baseball cap. I've seen that at so many. I've been to I've seen a lot of new metal bands. It's my generation. It's all I'm proud of. Right? You know, it just happens. Yeah, alright. I'll see that. If it's on at the festival, I'll go watch them.
He was 75% Alex, 25% rock band.
Yeah.
You know, old geezer, he was 50% for me. Alex.
Yeah.
And Alex was 100% Alex.
Alex was on one.
Okay, Alex wins. I would have voted for Alex as well. Clean sweep.
Clean sweep, Alex wins again.
He retains his crown.
He's just been beaten though.
He has been a few times.
He has been, that's true. Alright, so that's at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Alright, so thank you very much for listening. I've been Ben. Like us on Facebook, please, and Twitter and Instagram. Facebook Apocalypse, currently the bottom of the post with Apocalypse. Twitter is Apocalypse Ball. Instagram is
Cutting through the ball, yeah.
Cutting Through the Ball. Anchor, and listen to Devil's Advocate as well, which is the side project. I'm in that along with Sean. So yeah, thanks for listening. Don't drink the Flavour Aid and don't join a cult.
I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
And I've been Claire, and keep an open mind, but not so open that it dribbles out your ears, guys.
Hey.
Hey.